What's up you lot, my name is Asai, welcome back to another video. So today's video is going to be me talking about Season 1, Season 2 and Season 3 of The Walking Dead. Now I hope you enjoy it, but I want to quickly say for my 1000 subscriber special, I'm still working on it, but I've gotten to the stage where I need you guys to comment me some skits and some questions for me to answer, because you guys hit 1000 subscribers. I didn't hit it. Without you guys I wouldn't have hit 1000 subscribers. Very big milestone, and I want you guys to please send me some questions or skits or something to act out to make the video more entertaining. So please write them down after you watch this video or right now. Just pause it, do your thing, but please, I want this 1000 subscriber to work. And yeah, other than that, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll be talking about why you may have seen me disappear recently in the last week or two, but other than that, let's get straight into the Walking Dead video. What's up you lot, my name is Disciple, welcome back to another video, and as you heard, today we're going to be talking about Season 1, Season 2 and Season 3 of The Walking Dead. What was the best one, what lacked, and why one was better than the other two. So before you guys try, guess, let me just tell you, Season 1 was the best out of all three seasons, and I believe the order that it went in was Season 1, Season 2 and Season 3. Now this is because Season 1 was just amazing. We played as Lee Everett, who, we started out, he had no pre-existing relationships, so that kind of actually helped us to get easy into controlling Lee and actually having a neutral balance. Whereas Javier, he actually had a pre-existing relationship, and we kind of dived in right 4 years into his family. But you know what, yeah, except from David and Kate, not many had clear character development. Now Lee Everett, he was a prisoner, he got a second chance at life, and his story was actually original. He wasn't blind like Javier. Now Javier was just a guy, he had a little bit of story, but it didn't really mean much. For Lee Everett, it was very, very important. You killed someone in a fight over your wife's affair, which was a problem, and this actually, Lee's backstory actually caused a huge problem for some in the zombie apocalypse, especially when you're starting out. Now, this was made a big deal in Season 1, Episode 2, and that was very important. Now, personally, I found that very significant, and it was very interesting to see, it was a clear original idea, whereas Javier's, I think Javier was a bit bland, and I'm going to refer to Lee and Javier a lot. I know they're not on the same level at all, but they're both the playable characters of Season 1 and Season 3, so, you can kind of compare the two, but you can see how far Season 3 came from Season 1. Now, Season 2. Season 2 was the second best season in my opinion. Now some people actually prefer Season 2 over Season 1, some people prefer Season 1 over Season 2, but I don't really hear much about Season 3 being preferred over the other two. The benefits of Season 1, what I thought was very good about it, is Season 1, it was very original. At first there was such a huge diversity that you weren't sure what was going on at times, and that was amazing. It wasn't, you didn't know what was going on because of bad, storytelling, but it was more of good storytelling. It was the opposite of that. There were so many troubles and dramas, and that just kind of kept it going. So Season 1, Episode 1, it was all about Clementine, and Clementine just, she's that constant achievement or objective that you have to keep, but sometimes you'd forget about that and you'd kind of think about other stuff, justice, survival, all that kind of thoughts come into your feelings. So for example, Season 2, you had to face your backstory. Your backstory was a real living. You're a convicted murderer, and you know what, you had to live with that. You had to live with people not being comfortable around you, even though you're not that person that people will interpret you just because you were a convicted killer. You loved your wife, and what happened is she cheated on you, and that just caused a massive debate, and it kind of changed the perception of people and how they would think of you.
You're a convicted killer.
Carly, Jesus.
And I think people should know. Not because they deserve to, and not because you're a bad man. I think the opposite of those two things. People need to know because we're hanging by a thread here, and I can't see Lily talk about you without thinking it's the next thing she's going to say. You don't have to tell everyone, but think about who you trust and take the opportunity while you have it.
You're probably right.
Of course I'm probably right. People might be pissed, and telling them might cause some trouble, but it will be a far cry from what'll happen if they don't hear it from you.
Yeah.
So you'll do it then?
I'll let people know. You're totally right.
Good. I think it's for the best.
and I thought that was very important. And it's, you know, episode 2 we had the cannibal farmers or Danny and Andy. Yeah, it was Danny and Andy, and that was just what such like an episode 2. Episode 2 was an amazing episode, and then episode 3, you know, you also have the bandits kind of fly in, but then you're like, hold on. So I went from episode 1 trying to find, you know, a suitable group, to episode 2 being about farmers who trying to eat you, and now episode 3 we have a traitor. Like, oh my god, the story kept on going. Then episode 4, you know, you went to Savannah, you know, the focus went back on Clem, but then there was even more problems, you know. It shifted, like, you forgot about the bandits at all. It wasn't even bandits, it wasn't even that type of person. A person on the radio, you have Kenny's family is gone. All of that actually kind of produced a massive, you know, crazy event, and all those villains and like problems kind of tied into one. They all went separate roads and then joined back into one road, which was find Clementine. And that is what I think is great storytelling. Season 3, I can see they tried doing that, you know. Obviously survival is got to be a focus in the game, but I think The Walking Dead, the main focus shouldn't always be walkers. It should be other things, including walkers. Walkers, if it's just, oh, you know what, kill a couple of walkers, that's it, the game would be boring. You know, you need to have other factors, and you know, A New Frontier tried to have that, and that's what I guess was a bit better than season 2 in. Like, it had the relationship drama, UK and David. It also had, you know, the idea of your brother hating you, but your brother was jealous of you. It was, you know, there was a couple ideas, but it just kept going back in circles. It was a small circle. It didn't go like a full loop. Like, it wasn't 365 days. It was just 24 hours. You know what I mean? But like, yeah, in season 2, that's what it lacked. You know, and you know, they tried to make it so they tried making survival being the main focus, but you notice that it was going in no direction, because if you're making survival, you know, in terms of having to kill zombies the main focus of a game, that's where you know you've messed up, because that shouldn't be the main focus of the game. Should be a focus, but around other surrounding focuses as well. So in season 2, episode 1, 2, 3, you know, it was kind of pointless. Obviously, the Carver situation was probably one of the highlights of the season 2, and that was cool. But other than that, if you just take out the Carver situation, you pretty much done nothing for the first 3 episodes. When AJ arrived into the scene, everything changed. So I believe that, you know, season 2 could have just been Carver's camp, so Carver's situation, AJ being born, and episode 5, the whole episode 5, and the season wouldn't have changed much at all. You wouldn't have missed much, and that's why I think A New Frontier was better in that way. Now, next I'm going to be talking about character development. Season 1 had the best character development. I talked this with a couple of my friends, especially Percy. Me and him have discussed very blatantly, but we both agree that the way the character development was handled in A New Frontier, it was appalling. Like, if you don't know what someone did or does, then you know you flop. Who is Tripp? Okay, what was his role in the Prescott? Like, what was his role? What was he doing? Some people presume he's a leader, but if he's a leader, would he really just give up on his site, his town like that so quick? I don't believe so. I believe a good leader would be someone that would try to look for everyone, make sure everyone's okay. That's what's a good leader. And so this is what kind of like, it makes me a bit sad, just because of how poor the character development was in season 3. Season 3 only focused on a couple of people, and that was Kate, David, Javier. I'm not gonna say Clementine because we already know Clem, but you know, other than Harvey, Kate and David, they probably got the most character development. And you don't even have to include Harvey. I mean, Harvey was a damn starting character, so he was the main character, so of course he's gonna get character development. But other than that, there wasn't that much character development. So in season 2, there was also obviously a lot of character development. Some people would say that season 2 didn't have good character development. I think it did to an extent, but it didn't just fulfill everyone. You know, like, whenever you meet a new character in season 2, for example Walter, he talked about his life, he talked about how he was a teacher. He's trying to, like, you can kind of see through the way he talks, you know, trying to bring up Steinbeck quotes, etc. You can see the type of person he was.
People are more political now than they ever were before. In the end, we can't change the world. All we can do is continue to learn from each other, to empathize and use our heads. All war is a symptom of man's failure as a thinking animal. Steinbeck. Have you read him? Well, we have plenty of time to catch you up on your reading. My partner Matthew is amassing quite the literature collection. I think you'll like him. In any case, the point is, as long as we have our wits about us, we can always make the right choice. Right?
and that's kind of the things that kind of, you know, missed us in season 3. There wasn't any particular quotes that kind of defined someone. For example, like obviously with Walter, you could very clearly tell he was a teacher, and some people would say that Kenny stole the actual spotlight for the most of the season. I mean, yes, he did, but it wasn't like a bad move. It was not a bad move. It was a pretty good move. Season 1 obviously had the best character development. You know, it's because what I believe, more hubs equal more character development. Season 3 probably had the least amount of hubs. Maybe season 2 didn't have that many either, to be honest, but season 2, the hubs that were there at least were, you know, fulfilling and satisfying. Some of season 3's was a bit decent, like maybe the junkyard, that was a bit decent. That was a pretty good one actually, but you couldn't really talk much. Like, you should be able to go talk to people. Like, for example, you should be able to go talk to anyone in your area and talk about how are they feeling, you know, what are their thoughts on this situation. Or if you're meeting someone new, what did you do before the apocalypse? What are your thoughts on this situation that we're in right now? How do you think we're gonna do this thing, you know? Stuff like that, questions like that is what shapes a character, and that's what we needed in season 3 and was missing in season 3, but it was very easily present in season 1 and to an extent season 2. Playable characters is a big role in this games. Now the games franchise, it's a bit sad to see it going on a downgrade. I mean if you played all 3 seasons, you can kind of tell. I mean the general rule is that sequels never, you know, live up to the hype, and that is kind of the general rule, but to an extent some would say season 2 is better than season 1, etc. And that happens, that is very true with movies as well. Sequels never live up to the hype, you know. They did show a bit of light, but it wasn't like the huge, you know, bruh moment that you just felt, because like how with season 3 episode 3, I mean, you know, some work, you know, 3 to 5, it was a bit hard for them, so many rewrites, but you know, it's not our fault, it's more of Telltale's. But at the same time, you know, what did you think was going to happen with Kane and Jenny dying? You know, it was just not a very smart move. You should probably fire whoever actually decided to make that move. But anyways, so season 1 obviously had a lot of character development, and the playable characters is very interesting. We stayed as Lee Everett for the whole season, and this is what I really liked about Lee. He, like I said, I'm gonna link back to what I said before, he's an original character and he had no pre-existing relationships, which was very cool because we didn't feel like we were missing out on anything. All his story was told through like episode 1, you know, when he was sleeping, you can kind of tell, and episode 2 just made it so obvious that he was a convicted killer, for those who didn't get the hints in episode 1. Now, Lee, he was a cool guy, he was a funny guy, he was neutral as well. He was neutral, but he had his moments, because everyone can shape him to the way you want. And the best potential, they've always had potential, they still had potential with A New Frontier. That this is something that was not much brought in season 3 at all. It was not at all. Season 2, it had a bit of this character will remember that. Where happened to character relationships, you know, through normal dialogue, not even big choices. Like, it's a bit sad to see the games getting a bit more simpler, not branching out as much, and obviously that means more work. But if you're not willing to put in that work, then why make a choice-based game? You know what I mean? This is what kind of pisses me off, I'm sorry. But like season 1, you could be having normal dialogues and characters will actually remember that and actually, you know, store it in the back of their heads and be like I remember in season 1, I'd be like, oh, Kenny remember that. You know what? Kenny appreciates your loyalty. Kenny will remember your honesty. Stuff like that, yeah. I'd be like, oh yes, Kenny remember that. Yes, thank you. Season 2, it had this moment, but season 3 is like, Kate will remember that. No, she bloody won't. Like, come on, man. Like, I kind of hate how, you know, it was one of the best features, to be honest. Having dialogue options was kind of also a way to actually determine certain character relationships, and you know, it was just kind of, it was more for determining character relationships rather than actually forwarding the plot. And you know, in season 3, dialogue options are more for forwarding the plot rather than actually trying to determine your relationships with the characters. For example, with Kenny, if all your options you've made with him, the dialogue options as well, this will go back all the way to episode 5 and we will decide whether he wants to go with you or not, to Clementine. Now, some will say it was a bit of a stupid option because it's just a bit of a selfish option, but it's showing that Telltale actually managed to branch off all these sort of options and actually lead them back to one main option. Whereas in season 3, it's just for forwarding the plot purposes. There's no, like, character relationships do not really actually matter in choices anymore. So maybe like in season 3, you can hate with David. Like, some people would actually, they'd be team bro before Like, you know, they'd be Team David all the way, but then obviously David still fights you in episode 5, and you're just kind of like, but I backed him in all these episodes and now he's still gonna fight me. Like, it just kind of shows how much of like a plot device it was, dialogue options. And I still love the dialogue options, you know, it's kind of what makes Telltale stand out. But he will remember this or she will remember that thing is a bit of a gimmick. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you've been into the end of this video, please drop a super like, type in super like, and I'll shout out those who write super like in my next video. So why not write super like, and I'll shout you out in the next video. I've been SIF, and now I'm gonna have a little update talking about where I've been for the last week or two. But if you don't really want to care about the update and you're just here for the theory debate video, then thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you like the video. There's more videos coming soon for Walking Dead. I'm not done with the Walking Dead, even though Walking Dead is over. There's a lot of videos, but I want to space them out obviously. But thank you so much for watching, and in a bit. What is up, 7 Army? So welcome back, guys. I want to have a real chat with you guys. I just want to give a bit of updates because you guys got me to 1,000 subscribers, and that day was crazy. That the day that I hit 1,000 subscribers was crazy. And to be honest, like, it's a bit emotional. I've actually hit like 1,000. I don't actually seem like a very emotional person, but it's actually a very like mad thing. Like, the amount of things that I've done, the amount of channels I've done, and you know, at least like I can actually go and say I've hit 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. It's just crazy, and I want to thank you guys so much. It actually helps so much. I know it might sound fake what I'm saying right now, but I'm actually like very honest. I've already talked about this in my 1K subscriber special. I've had to actually rewrite that video a couple of times because, you know, I have the first draft ready to go, but if I upload that, it didn't feel like how I wrote it down on paper, because I write kind of a couple of notes for all my videos, even sometimes a script. But for videos like the 1K, if you write too many notes, it doesn't seem that real, and it didn't seem that real. So like, yes, I felt real about, you know, trying to thank you, but I'm just like, it didn't at all. It just didn't, like most of the parts it didn't. So I've rewritten it, and I've included new ideas and new things. So thank you so much. I've actually also had a pretty stressful week this last week, but you guys probably wouldn't have noticed just because my usual upload schedule is one video per week. So usually more if there's just news that splashes out, but it's usually one video per week. And obviously I've had a very stressful week, and my last video was the Game of Thrones videos. I know these don't get as much support as, you know, my Walking Dead videos, but there will be a time where I'm gonna have to stop doing Walking videos for a bit, just because I can't keep forcing it. I don't want to force it. And like, Telltale games, they don't just do Walking Dead. I know that's the most like successful series, but you know, Game of Thrones, Telltale is my favorite Telltale game, and you know, I can't wait for more information. Wolf Among Us season 2 seems to also be appearing in maybe very soon. I mean, Job J. Stolfer was talking about the cool Telltale fans that they've actually been asking about a game for that long, so it could be Wolf Among Us. Pretty sure it's Wolf Among Us. Anyways, thanks to Percy for telling me about that, because I was behind. I've had such a stressful week that I didn't even know about any of the Telltale news. So yeah, thank you guys so much. I don't know, like, it's been a stressful video and it's been a stressful week, but it's been a long video as well. Anyways, super like, and remember guys, please write in any skits and questions in the comments down below, so I can actually do a bit of the 1K subs. If I don't get that many, it's fine, but I just want to get at least some so I can make this 1K subscriber special video very entertaining. Anyways, other than that, you guys know what my last couple of words are. 3, 2, 1, in a bit.